Welcome back to the Freelancers Tea Break, the short and sweet podcast to enjoy whilst you're making a cuppa. So I'm going to jump straight into this week's topic. It's something that I sent out to my newsletter last week, and it seemed to chime a lot with a lot of people. It was one of those things where I'd got in the car and I just had a flash of a thought, and it turned into a slightly longer newsletter. But I want to share it because I think it applies to everybody at different points. So first of all, I follow a lot of podcasts, like probably too many. But one of the ones that I never miss an episode of is The Lazy Genius. And in fact, Gail, my brilliant book coach, we often voxer each other with snippets that we've heard from it and how we can implement it, because it's a really actionable podcast. And you know I love a good actionable podcast if you've been here for a little while. It's led to me then using the audiobook that you can find on Spotify or you can download it. I think she's got a couple, Kendra, the writer. She's got ones about Lazy Kitchen, but this is the very first one, the Lazy Genius approach. So why am I telling you this? It sounds like I've gone off on a tangent. I have slightly, but one of the highlights of the book so far for me has been Kendra talking about seasons of our life. And I'm not talking about like traditional spring, summer, autumn, winter. I'm talking about periods of life. It's not a new concept to me. I'm a big fan of the whole concept of friends are for a reason, a season, or life. And I think it is basically a really good reminder that we're not designed to be consistent and robotic the entire way through our lives and do things a set way. We need to be flexible, and sometimes our personal life will need to be more of a priority, sometimes our work life. And it's definitely something I've experienced over the last couple of months. We've definitely moved into a different season as a parent of a neurodivergent child who has a lot of anxiety issues at the moment. It's required me to change the balance a bit and do a lot more in terms of supporting him and nurturing him, and being a bit more flexible around school. And that's meant I've had to ease back on some of my work things, so less thinking about launches and things like that, and more about kind of being in the comfort zone a little bit. Now, with the comfort zone, imagine there's a big circle, and in the middle of the circle is your comfort zone. That's where you feel safe and everything's in control. And then around that is the fear zone. So that's where you might not have confidence. You might be scared to do things. But once you get through that fear zone, you move into the learning zone. And this is where you acquire new skills. You start to build on things. Your confidence starts to grow. And then finally, on the outskirts of that, on the outer ring of the circle, is the growth zone. So that's where you start to feel really great about what you're doing. And it means your comfort zone is bigger overall. At the moment, I'm kind of working through the fear zone and the learning zone as a neurodivergent parent. And that scenario I'm doing there. But it means that I can then stay in the comfort zone for my work things, because it would be very difficult to be working on both areas, moving into fear zone or learning zone or growth zone for both of those areas. So it's okay for me to be in that comfort zone in my professional life whilst I'm working through other zones in my personal life. The negative Nancy in my head, and I apologise if your name is Nancy, it's just, I like a bit of alliteration, has been pottering around in my brain and sort of planting seeds of, you're dropping all the balls, or you should be able to do the same as usual, and why aren't you able to work as much, and why aren't you responding as quickly? But realistically, I can't right now. I need to accept that this particular season of my life, and it's not forever, but this season is about focusing on parenting, and I can still do all the professional stuff. I'm still showing up for calls. I'm still supporting my clients. I'm just not necessarily in a mega growth stage with that side of things. So it's okay for me to be kind of treading water there at the moment. Now, this obviously for me is applying to being a parent, but everybody is going to experience these times, whether it's going through a period of grief, ill health, caring for others. And that doesn't just mean children. That could be family members, friends, parents. So lots of different things. It could be moving house. It could be burnout. It could just be a mental health side of things as well as physical health. So there's lots of reasons why we might have these periods of time where we need to sit in the comfort zone, we need to recoup, and we don't need to keep pushing forward and expecting the same of ourselves as we would if we were at 100% or if everything was working well. We need to be a bit kinder to ourselves. Obviously, that doesn't mean you can stay in your comfort zone all the time, because growth comes from coming outside the comfort zone, and you're never going to grow and make that comfort zone bigger unless you move outside it. But I think it's really important to identify what season of life are you in at the moment. Are you in a point where you're looking to grow, or are you in a point where you need to stay in the comfort zone at the moment whilst you focus on other things? So my question to you is, are you in a season of life where you're looking to rest, tread water, stay in that comfort zone, or are you ready to make it out that comfort zone and grow, and then eventually grow that comfort zone as well? Whatever you were at, don't compare yourself to others. Don't think, oh, other people are going through this and they're able to do things. Like, I know as a mum, I've struggled with that a lot, where I've seen other mums achieving so much more, and then I compare myself, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what's happening. And the same goes for so many other things as well. So don't compare yourself to others, because it's pointless. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent now, so I'm going to wrap it up there. But I basically just want to remind you to have a look at the seasons of your life and work out where you're at, and don't assume that you have to be powering on as you would have in a different season of life when circumstances were different. So this is your permission slip, basically. I hope that was useful. Do let me know. Come into the Facebook group, The Freelance Lifestylers. It's a free community with lots of lovely people in there. Or come let me know on Instagram. That's usually the best place to find me. I'm at Emma Cossey on there. Have a wonderful freelance week.